And we are live.
Welcome to the special edition CrackBerry podcast for Wednesday, June 7th, 2017.
Hey, everybody. Kevin Mitchell here, joined today by Adam Zeiss and Blaze for another CrackBerry podcast. Adam, are they all special podcasts?
I think everyone that I'm on from here on out is a special podcast.
I mean, hey, this is a pretty. We're back on a relatively steady cadence. I think the rule is when Kevin is home for more than 48 hours, I come to the office and we record a podcast, which isn't too bad. So
yeah, I think that's a good rule to actually follow. But when you're gone for like a week at a time, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, well, I'm here for a couple days and I leave Tuesday for about 2 weeks. So we will talk about that because we're going to hit up 5 cities in 5 days for CrackBerry meetups in the USA, which is pretty exciting.
Woohoo.
Thanks, everybody, though, for listening today. It's going to be a fun show. I already have the name of this episode, Covfefe. I feel like it's very descriptive. I've been really on this, I've been working on this editorial of let's rewind a week. So last week I was in Taipei, Taiwan for Computex, which is a big conference out there. This is an event that was on my calendar for, I think, the better part of a year. So long before I knew I was coming out of CrackBerry retirement, and long before we knew May 31st would be the date that KeyOnes would become available in North America. I put it in air quotes because it became available to some, but to many more, it's still an elusive beast that people are trying to get their hands on because it's selling out within minutes of going back into stock in places like Best Buy. And, Amazon got it in stock and it sold out almost immediately. And they didn't get this. They listed the CDMA units, but none of those have shipped yet from all intents and purposes and testimonials and so on. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But that's okay. Sounded fancy. So we definitely got to talk about that. But when you're in Taipei, you're 12 hours living in the future. So every morning I would wake up to just a crazy amount of forum threads to catch up on because the community's been a little bit restless through this all. Blaze, I know you've been living in it, so why don't we start with that before? Let's just address the elephant in the room up front and get back to CrackBerryness after that.
Well, I mean, the elephant in the room, of course, is the availability of the devices, with people not being able to go ahead and get their hands on them. I mean,
so
I haven't touched on that, but
okay. So I have a theory, though. I blame you because you're the kind of guy. Did you buy I saw the credit card statement come through, and somebody put through like fucking 50 phones on that Amex of ours. Are you the person?
I mean,
are you the? How many KeyOnes do you have right now?
About 30.
So you ruined it for everyone, is what?
Yeah,
so it's Blaze's fault.
You guys can all blame me. It's all my fault.
See, this is it. The people who work at CrackBerry are true addicts. What are you gonna do with 30 KeyOnes?
Are those all going on eBay?
Shower with them and pour them over myself and
sleep on it. No,
I also bought all the cases too. So
oh my god, we're just
got all kinds of cases.
So this is a little trolling right now. Those are actually the KeyOne all of the people who have won IOUs for KeyOnes in the past several months. We finally got a hold of them today, and those will be going out shortly. So that's super exciting. We have all the GSM ones. We're still waiting a little bit for CDMA units, and those in Europe, I think we'll send you those separately. But Michelle will be packing up the IOU KeyOnes with maybe a little CrackBerry swag in a package, and they will be en route ASAP. But I'm so jealous. You can draw so many things with all those KeyOnes. You're just like,
you're jealous. You have like 15. Blaze has like 30, and I just have just one.
Just one. One's all you need, though, because the battery life will last you forever.
Exactly.
We all know this. No, so that's cool. Very good. Very exciting update for all the KeyOne winners. And that's why you should follow CrackBerry on a regular basis, because we love to give stuff away as much as we'd love to do podcasts that have no script.
Wouldn't
But-
have it any other way.
But okay, so we talked about availability a little bit. I mean, people probably want more detail than what we've given. But the honest truth is, like, there's a lot I just don't know. So I'm waiting as much as everyone else. I would like an update, obviously, on what's happening with CDMA units. I have my theories, which is, we know Sprint announced officially that they're carrying the KEYone in the US. So maybe the unlocked CDMA version would come closer to when Sprint does that. But I don't know. Maybe we'll see the unlocked CDMA one sooner. But that was the theory that was going through my head of why maybe it's not shipping yet. Also, it's just a different SKU. Maybe it takes longer to do the software, et cetera, et cetera. Although obviously it must be very close or they wouldn't list it as pre-order if it's not going to start becoming available soon. So my hunch is it should be there ASAP. And then my second thing is, why are you on CDMA? I don't understand. Switch to
That's what I was going to say.
Like, why?
Everybody now should have a GSM carrier, but
I have so I have almost like no sympathy because I'm like, why? Why?
if you're still on Verizon, then that's your own fault.
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, but Verizon covers a lot of regional areas, so
True.
I mean, there are valid reasons to still be on Verizon and there's CDMA portions,
but why couldn't Verizon have switched to GSM years ago?
right? Well,
Because they spent hundreds of billions of dollars building an infrastructure and need to get the payback period on it before they changed anything. Maybe, but who cares about making money? It should just be give us GSM phones, even if you got a. No, okay, now I'm being grumpy. So then what else are we waiting on release dates? Unlocked availability. So in Canada, though, far less issues, right? All the carriers have launched. Even TELUS came out, who was only going to support business customers. That's kind of what they were saying. And I think the CrackBerry TELUS community got so angry at them that they flipped their mind, and now they're going to sell it on to consumers. I don't think there's an exact time frame for that launch, but I'm assuming it won't take too long.
No, they basically started, like, if you call TELUS now and complain enough, they'll ship you one. They'll give you one without a business service. I don't think that they put it on their website as of yet. I think it was supposed to go up on June 5th, but that was the date that I had heard previously, but I don't think it went up as of yet. But at the same time, if you do call them and you complain enough, they'll hook you up.
Oh, you just reminded me. Well, obviously I pre-ordered KEYone in Canada on May 18th there when it became available. And when I got to roll away here for a second. Oh my God, I look so, this shirt's too tight. It makes me look fat, or maybe I am fat.
It's not the shirt.
Look at this nice backpack I purchased though.
That's real nice.
It's real nice. I'm gonna tell you why I purchased it later in the show. Remind me.
I always love to hear your thoughts behind your ridiculous purchases.
Well, this one is key. It has to do with a product. I'll just tell you guys want to know right now.
Absolutely.
But I do have my Rogers KEYone here, which why don't I unbox it and set it up while we're doing this podcast? And maybe I should do some drop tests, make sure the screen is all solid.
I feel like doing a drop test right now would be bad and just make people angry since people don't actually have one and you're just going to throw one around willy-nilly.
Yeah, well, I won't drop test it.
I mean, maybe Blaze could because he has like 30 of them. So,
but that's been one of the topics I've seen in the forums, and I don't think it's a widespread thing, but there's been a few, hardware reliability or quality control things coming out on some of these earliest purchase KEYones.
I actually tried to screw around with mine because there was, the one couple with like different screen issues and stuff like that. So I sat the other night and was twisting and turning mine and kind of playing around with it, but I don't appear to have any of the issues that some people are experiencing. So.
I've had close to 10 KEYones come through my hands so far. And I've had no issues with displays. I've seen one popped screen, and it was because somebody at a meetup twisted the thing really hard, from what I understood. They said it wasn't hard, but I don't quite believe it because there's a lot of alcohol involved at that particular meetup. I've had no dead pixels issues ever. What else is there? Keyboards have always been rock solid.
Yeah,
I did tell, I think, the story on the last podcast of how the KEYone saved my face, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I did have that happen, but I slammed the keyboard into a side table. 205 pounds of momentum behind it. So I felt that was exemplary build quality. And I will defend the build quality now because it saved my face. I would be much uglier.
I've had three, and none of mine had any issues. I have a
plus the 30 more sitting right. Okay, wait, listen.
This is a terrible podcast for people that don't have a KEYone yet. This is like, we should just call this the "You're Going to Be Angry" podcast.
We're going to make you mad.
Just for the record, I only have one, and I'm not for all this. Like, hey, we have 50,000 KEYones, and you don't have any.
Hey, look,
but I mean, I buy this stuff. I'm saying, like, I have my.
But.
Okay. Kevin's just trying to throw me under the bus because these ones that I have are not necessarily mine. They're for everybody else. They're for CrackBerry readers. Damn it.
They are. They're going to be super excited too. Kate, this is my favorite sound in the world. Can I do it live? I hope my microphone picks this up. Are you ready? You can only do it once. It'll never sound as good.
Amazing. There's a whole subreddit called That Peelin' Feelin' where you can post that stuff. And I think somebody put up the one from your unboxing or review.
Oh, thank God, because it's so good. Here, let me do the screen too.
It's amazing.
Oh, I kind of got my finger in the way on that. Man, why does that sound make me so happy?
Because it's the newness of the device.
Okay, well, I'm going to start this up while we're chatting. Okay, other release and availability things. So France launched, I think, on June 1st. And our friends at BlackBerry 10 FR had a meet up there without me. I was really disappointed. We did help promote it once I found out it was happening. But they had a good turnout, looked good. And they had which keyboard is in France? The Azerty keyboard?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so they got the Azerty on, which is cool. So that's happening. I think that's it for this podcast, guys. We can pretty much wrap it up. No, yeah, wait.
Let's go.
No, no. Coming back to issues. So I mean, we definitely saw some reports in the forums of some, hardware glitches. Now, the one thing I'll say is, anybody who has an issue goes to CrackBerry. So the absolute number there is kind of 1-to-1 issue to complaint. I've typically found, especially when it's like the early adopters of a new phone that's hard to get. And what isn't necessarily happening is all the happy customers. So you got to really normalize that noise. And, so I'm not panicking on anything because, again, even for me as a sample of one person who's had a ton of phones, I've had really nothing but rock solid experiences. Obviously super frustrating though, and I feel the pain of any user who's, been waiting for this phone and gets it and then runs into an issue. So, feel the pain. Hopefully when you get one, it's glitch free. And, I think, obviously, new phone, new production line altogether. You might have some glitches. We've seen it before with mini BBs over the years. Yeah. So it's not like it's a thing we're not accustomed to. But
a little bit of thing. Part of the thing is that, like you said, when people get something new, they always want to be excited over it, and to have something go wrong, it's always unfortunate that has to be the case. But things do go wrong. And it's not necessarily the first time that it has happened either. Like we've seen passports come off of the production line where their displays were lifting up, and it takes a little bit of time and effort to go ahead and figure that stuff out. Once they get it figured out, then the production becomes a process, and then get over it and so on.
My screen's perfect. Just for the record, it's perfect. It's a perfect KEYone. Feels like, oh, look how shiny. It's just so new. No smudges.
I think a lot of it too, I mean, like you said, it definitely sucks to get a phone that doesn't work properly or has something wrong with it, but most places that you're going to get it from have super easy return processes, so if you buy it in the store, you can bring it back and get a new one, or you can, send it back, especially like Amazon and places like that, providing they have stock.
It's definitely one of the reasons to wait in terms of, for the people who are like, well, I'm going to buy it from Selfridges UK and ship it to the US or ship it to wherever else. You just, you make it more complex for yourself if you do run into an issue, I guess.
Yeah, I've never been one to go ahead and order something out of country where I couldn't just take the benefit of the warranty
That's what happened with mine, because I got mine from Carphone Warehouse, and it has a pixel issue that like comes and goes, but there's not a whole lot I can do about it because the logistics of sending it back to the UK and returning it and swapping it out kind of outweigh the benefits of just keeping it and dealing with it.
No, that makes sense. No, and I do think again, any issues are probably going to be fixed super fast. For the record too, like, we always, when we see these things pop up in the forums, like if it's a new issue, we always report it on, and we're doing that now with like BlackBerryMobile.com, like BlackBerry Mobile. If we see something, like, hey, we saw this in the forums, we'll pass it on to people on their team, and we always have done that over the years at BlackBerry also, regardless of the phone launch. So it's kind of old hat for us to monitor the forums, and if we see stuff that's like, whoa, that's interesting, we pass it on and it gets addressed quick. So.
I think there's a fair amount of stuff too that's software related, so a lot of stuff can be fixed through software updates. So if people get early builds of stuff, where bits and pieces of things aren't working, there's plenty of stuff that can be fixed through software updates. So that's a bonus as opposed to.
I feel like all my software has been working okay. Shouldn't a software thing affect everybody, or does it affect specific units?
No, I mean, the thing right now is that some of the units, and it will get resolved as more units go out. But the thing right now is that some of the units, the UK units, are on a different build than some of the US units.
Okay, so Blaze, this is a good question for you. Walk me through all the SKUs. So are there 3 SKUs right now, like a European one, a North America GSM, and then the North American CDMA? Or is there?
Yeah, there's 3 that will essentially be released fully. That we know of anyways. If there's more coming, then we don't know about those.
If it hits Asia and places like that, do they get a separate?
They may end up with a different SKU. But for now, there's 3 SKUs, the 1, 2, and 3.
Got it.
And basically, the 1 is North American, the 2 is European, and I believe the 3 is the the US CDMA version.
Okay.
And then, obviously, we haven't seen the 3 pop up yet. But it goes back to a question that came up in the forums the other day, because BlackBerry started rolling out the security update for June, too. And some people have the June update on their KEYone already. Rogers customers have the June update on their KEYone already, for the most part, because it was preloaded before they were actually released and sent out through Rogers. So somebody asked, well, how come the other ones don't have it? It's like, well, when you think about the time span and when the devices were released, UK versions came out at the end of April. The North American versions came out at the end of May. And now we're just hitting June right now. So eventually, all of the SKUs are going to be on the same production cycle for the updates once they all start getting out there, right? We're not at that point yet, but everybody should start seeing the June update come around before the end of June, technically, because there's going to be bug fix updates that get sent out to the UK. There's going to be bug fix updates that get sent out to the North America devices, and so on and so forth. And then by the time everything rolls around, everybody should be on the exact same patch level, security level, all of that stuff, with all of the exact same bug fixes, so that everybody is, on equal ground in terms of the software. It just takes a little bit for that to come out because of how the rollout actually happens.
Makes sense. You're smart, Blaze.
Okay.
I learned things. No, that makes sense. And with so availability in the US, obviously. So we kind of highlighted the replay there, right? Amazon sold out, boom. Yeah. I think some of the orders are starting to ship again, though. Like people, because once Amazon sells out, you can keep ordering it and adding it to the basket. You just kind of get put into the queue. But I think some of those have been shipping, right?
Yeah. Basically, like if you go to Amazon right now and you see 1 to 2 months shipping time frame, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a 1 to 2 months shipping time frame. That's basically just based upon Amazon's algorithm of when they think it may be processed, right? So, I mean, technically, you could go order one right now, and if it says 1 to 2 months, and then Amazon gets a shipment of like 5,000 of them tomorrow, your shipment automatically gets bumped up through the queue. And next thing you know, your 1 to 2 months wait time goes down to like, oh, shipping the next day. That's just how the algorithm works on Amazon. So, I mean, for anybody looking at it, I'm not saying that you're going to get it the next day, but when you look at the 1 to 2 months, it's not necessarily accurate either.
Right. But if you want it from Amazon, just go buy it, right? And Best Buy has been interesting because it's become our new favorite game is to refresh the page and see if there's more inventory. And then it's like, oh, there's inventory. And then we tweet it out or blog it, and then it disappears.
Yeah, they did a late night drop last night.
Late night was super trippy because it lasted till this morning. And then I think by 8 o'clock it was gone. So is it back now or is it not?
I think it's still there. I think you can still add it to the cart because when I looked earlier, they had some that were shipping out. So
I need to click now.
And there was always, was it Selfridges too? They had them in stock earlier, so you could buy them unlocked from the UK.
Oh, yeah, you can add it to the cart there.
Go that route.
Well, so it's good. I mean, despite the ups and downs and some of these things, I mean, I just kind of like that we're finally here and we're living in it. And, for the KEYone owners who have it, congratulations. I hope you're loving the phone overall. And for the people still waiting, hopefully you'll get it very, very soon. And it'll be a glitch-free, amazing experience for you. So you'll have the benefit of waiting a little, I guess.
That's the thing with the forums, though. Like I said, everything gets amplified. We hear from everybody who doesn't necessarily have a great experience, but at the same time, it's like if I look on Twitter, I mean, there's people when I posted like last night, Best Buy, that they had orders available. There's like people that were like, "Yes, I finally got my order."
No, it's kind of it's like, funny. Like part of me in my head is like that would be pretty clever. Marketing strategy. It's just make it exclusive and hard to get, right? It becomes, it makes you want it that much more when you can't just get it at any time. It's like, yes.
It kind of reminds me of when the playbook first came out and it was like hard to get and then it was released some places. And I think it was like Staples or something that had it.
Totally.
But then they didn't ship right away. And then everybody's all posting in the forums when they started shipping. And it was, it was kind of fun. I mean, it's not fun if you don't get the device right away, but it was still kind of fun.
I was mad because Staples canceled my order.
Oh, yeah. I think that was a big issue too, right? Yeah.
No, I think, the biggest thing, because I've been reading lots of the comments and threads, and there was one about Kevin that was pretty interesting. It was like, Kevin's going to go back into retirement in 1, 2,
That was my favorite thread.
I just like that it was Kevin's going to go back into retirement in 1, 2, 3 instead of 3, 2, 1, because I feel like you would count it down, you wouldn't count it up. Yes. I was like, correct. I don't know, but no, not going into retirement, and I think overall, my biggest thing is look, clearly, any manufacturer of phones wants to sell phones. The goal is not to tease us and then tease us more and not sell product, right? So if something is not there yet, whether it's the CDMA one isn't shipping yet, or this one's not enough inventory, or just selling out quick. I'm like, well, obviously they want to move as much product as they can, as fast as they can, and keep moving it as long as there's somebody there who wants to buy it. So, I think I come back to when Steve Sestouli was on the, our first 10th anniversary podcast. And this is like a reminder I need to give every second podcast, I think. And he said, look, you got to give us some patience, be patient with us. We want to do right by everybody. It's going to take a little time. We need to build out this team. And, I think the first phone is always going to be the hardest because they need to rebuild out every one of these sales channels and partnerships and everything. But, when we see the next phone launch, it should be, I think, a smoother, let's use the word birthing process. I feel like that's something Jim Balsillie would say. When you give birth to a new phone, stuff can happen. So it's all good. No biggie. So where can you get one right now? Guaranteed. Is in the US, it's Best Buy is your quickest bet. Keep waiting for the refresh.
Yeah. Best Buy is probably your best bet when it comes to actually getting an order in and an order shipment placed out. You can still try Amazon. Like I said, Amazon has one of those that process where you can just get bumped out the queue. But personally, if I was going to go ahead and place an order today and I wanted it as soon as possible, I'd probably stick with Best Buy.
Interesting.
because of the fact that they keep refreshing. I mean, they're obviously on their game and know when the stock is coming in if they keep enabling and then disabling the availability of it. So
okay. I never finished my story of what I bought the bigger my laptop or my backpack
Please
for.
tell us.
Do you want to? Okay, I'm going to share my screen. This is my one Taipei story I'm going to share. Because so you guys all know obviously how much I love my phone ring on my phone, right?
Yeah.
Because it's so oddly practical. So what I found is my next practical accessory that I'm going to be just annoyingly loud about promoting everywhere because I think it's so brilliant. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't know this existed. And now that it's here, I will never travel anywhere without it. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. So if you're watching on video, you will see this. And if you are not, you're listening, you'll hear it. So this is it. It is the Zeus Zen Screen. And it is a external portable display powered by USB-C that hooks up to your laptop. So it's $249 US. This one is a 15.6-inch display. It's super lightweight. Like you pick it up and you're like, oh, this thing weighs nothing. And really, like if I'm, let's say I'm traveling, so I'm working out of hotel rooms, I'm working out of coffee shops, that kind of thing. I can literally pull my laptop out, sit it down, and then I can pull out my extra display. In my extra display, no additional power cables, just plug in the USB-C between my laptop and the display, and then I'm in a 3-monitor work environment. So like right now when I'm in my office, I have a big screen, and a big screen. And that's to me, like whenever I don't have that, I just feel like I'm not home in my work environment. I'm a 3-screen guy. And now I can have 3 screens with me everywhere. So and the thing is, they just get detected as displays. So like you can pop it up in portrait or landscape. You go into your monitor settings. You just choose which one is which. I'm like, this is going to become the new standard by which all like hardcore people are working. If you're trying to be a baller, you can't just work off a laptop. You need to have a laptop and like at least one display extra. But the cool kids are going to have 2. So I know Dan Rubino has already ordered 2 for himself. Mr. Mobile's already ordered 2 for himself. And I guarantee everybody's going to follow suit because it's completely brilliant. I'm like, there's no way you can live without it now that this exists.
It's amazing. So that's why you bought the bigger bag?
Yeah, because my laptop bag previously would get a little bit tight if I put that much into it. But this bag, I can be like laptop, monitor, or display. And I'm just going to be like, I'll walk into the Starbucks, take off my laptop or my backpack. I'll be like, boom, MacBook, 2 cables, boom, boom. And then I'll just sit there for 3 hours. People will be like, who's this douchebag? And I'll be like, yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Whatever. I own it.
Taking up like 4 seats in Starbucks.
Totally.
Right.
I'll take up a table and I'll just sit there. It'll be amazing.
I can't lie though, I do want one because
it's so brilliant though, because like automatically you think, oh, there's going to be another power cable. Now I need to it's impractical, but no, it's powered off the cable.
What if I don't have USB-C?
Well, I think actually it might say it works with Type A sources.
Oh, okay.
But it says a display link driver is needed for Type A. But I think it works. And a phone, we plugged it into phones. So like even a phone will power, it'll turn the display on and show the screen.
Interesting.
So crazy. Like to me, it's just brilliant. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Because now when I travel, I can have all my screens with me and feel like I'm home again. So sorry, a little off topic.
When you use it on the airplane, then that's when we've come like full circle.
When I use 3 screens on an airplane?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to buy out a row of seats. And
Which I wouldn't put it past you. It may sound obnoxious to some people, but
I may be crazy, but I'm not stupid. But what's really cool about the design also is it comes with like a cover which flips into a stand, kind of like an iPad case.
You don't have it to show it off?
No, it's coming back to Amazon. Why I got on this topic is I ordered it from the show floor in Taipei, but it's not shipping for like 3 more weeks.
Got it. So you don't have to have it.
It's coming out this month, but it's going to be here. And I keep going back to Amazon. I'm like, come on, ship.
So you got the bag in anticipation. So you haven't actually used it yet for that purpose.
I know. No, correct. Yeah, I got into anticipation, and I really wanted them here this week before I travel next week for 2 weeks. But my favorite part of the design is you don't need to use the stand. You can also, they drilled a hole in the bottom corner of the display, and you can just stick a pen through it. So you just take a pen, stick it through, and then that props the display up. So if you want to be
a connectedly pen, or can it be any pen?
How did you recognize that was a connectedly pen?
Are you kidding me? I have boxes of those. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I use this one and I think about you, Adam.
Oh, thank you.
Like,
it's creepy.
Connectedly,
But I appreciate it.
that site had so much potential. It just needed better management. Oh.
Terrible segue. Oh.
Better management.
Can you tell me, I'm actually really curious where you're going to be traveling to these next 2 weeks.
I would love to. So I'll be in Florida for a few days next week. We have our, I have a video team up there that we work with, etc. So catching up with them a little bit, then flying to New York for the weekend. So I'll be in New York, getting in late Friday night. So I fly to Miami on Tuesday, working from there until Friday. Friday night I fly to New York. I'll be in New York Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the real fun begins on Monday, June 19th. I'll be in Boston, where we're going to have a CrackBerry meetup. But it's not just any CrackBerry meetup. It is going to be the CrackBerry and Michael Fisher, a.k.a. Mr. Mobile, joint meetup, because that's his hometown. And, he loves the KEYone. So I am completely happy sharing the CrackBerry spotlight with him in that particular event. So we should have a great turnout. And then from there, it's going to be 5 cities, 5 days. So we're going from Boston to Washington, D.C. For June 20th, we'll have the meetup. Then we're going to Atlanta. Then we're going to Dallas, Texas. And then we will be flying home, or I'll be flying home towards Winnipeg on the Friday. But I'll be stopping in Chicago for a Friday night meetup. But the plan is, Blaze, are you going to be at these things or not?
We need
to work out the logistics
there. Need to work out the logistics of where you need me to actually be. But,
well, if I were you, I would come to New York for Saturday.
Yeah.
So fly into New York on Friday, and then you hang out with me until we get to Dallas. And then from Dallas, you could just fly back to wherever you are now. Because going from Dallas to Chicago and then back, I don't know if you're in Phoenix or Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Same difference. I feel like we should have a contest.
Yeah,
whoever shows up at all of the meetups can get a free KEYone at the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, collect your. It's like what was it? It's when McDonald's has the Monopoly stamps that you connect. Yeah. The CrackBerry board, collect all your pieces.
Yeah, like a puzzle piece of a KEYone at every meetup, and then when you get the completed piece, you get a free KEYone.
I'll tell you what, if anybody's listening to this and you want to come to all 5 meetups, and you're not on the CrackBerry payroll, email me that you're going to do it, and if you actually do it, we'll hook you up with something much.
It'd be pretty amazing.
Even more than a glorious BlackBerry KEYone.
You get a box of KEYones.
Well, maybe not a box, but you'll get something. We'll definitely get drunk together at least one night.
That in and of itself is just the best present.
Maybe Chicago. We'll take it easy till Chicago, and then Chicago will let loose. So,
I've never been to Chicago.
And I feel really bad. I need to. Sorry, say that again, Adam.
I've never been to Chicago. It's like one of the few major cities I've never been to. I'm kind of jealous. I just want to have a Chicago dog.
Chicago's a nice city. I like Chicago.
I've heard it's great.
A lot. Yeah, well, because it's kind of like it's got New York vibes to it, but it's the sidewalks aren't as packed. It's not as it's nice. It's a more manageable New York, maybe. Is that what
Fair enough. It's a good assessment.
Maybe. More manageable, but it's got like all the. I don't know. It's a good city.
All the amenities of New York without the fuss.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know Winnipeg's nickname is Chicago of the North?
I did not know that.
It's kind of like I live in a Chicago.
Does that make you the king of the North?
No.
Well, it's definitely cold and windy.
I'm more like, yeah. Wait. I'm the king on the other side of the wall. Like it's freezing.
Except
I know. So I'm super excited. We're obviously, these meetups are going to be a little more interesting in a sense. Not more interesting. They're going to be different because obviously I think a lot of attendees will have KEYones with them.
Yes.
So other than Blaze having his box of 30, I think this will be like the highest density of KEYones at every event, and then we can get some awesome photos out of it, and it'll be a little bit more of a celebration than just a tease, because it'll be like we can hardcore geek out on KEYone stuff. We will have a KEYone to give away at each event, which is fun. And instead of an IOU, it should be a actual unit. Although they go fast and they're hard to get a hold of, so in case I screw up, don't really do that.
Did you got some off Amazon the other day when they came out?
Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't know they were going to sell out right away. So
there's two people in the world that should hate you for getting two of them off Amazon.
Two people should be really mad at me. But basically, as soon as the page went up and we saw it, I ordered two. I had them shipped to me, but they couldn't ship to Canada, so I have them shipped to a place on the other side of the border. So funny enough, like I came home Friday. I have been so jet lagged this week, guys. It's just been a stupid week. But I came home Friday night towards 2 a.m. It was like 1:45 a.m. I went to bed at 2. Because of the jet lag, I woke up at 4:30 a.m. and I couldn't fall back to sleep. I slept 2.5 hours. So then I was like, I'll just drive to the border. So I made my border drive, got there for the store open, and came back with the two KEYones. But I had two KEYone IOU winners living in Winnipeg. And I had promised them I would hand deliver their units when we got them. So I just did that day. So Yamahammer, who's probably listening because you will know him in the forums, he actually, I should say, he came to my place and he picked it up. I didn't hand deliver it. I mean, I handed it to him, but I did not drive to him to deliver it. So he got his IOU a little bit early, and so did Marisa, who won it at our CrackBerry night. And hers I dropped off on the way back because she was en route a little bit. So yeah, I did get those two. But I'm really excited. And then after that, I'm hoping to not travel for a little bit. And then we'll see what happens. Maybe I feel like we have to round out the North American meetup tour. So we have to do like LA and a couple West Coast locations at some point.
That was my next question, is if there were going to be more meetups after that.
Well, everything is a little bit where week to week. We don't plan super far out in CrackBerry
fashion.
But my goal is to
standard process for it.
Yeah, I would like to be home for a couple weeks towards the end of June and beginning of July. I do think we should do a LA meetup sooner rather than later. Minneapolis, I'll just do at some point because I could always drive there like road trip style. That'd be fun. Houston, I need to apologize to, because on our last podcast, I said we were going to do a meetup in Houston. Originally, it was going to be Chicago on the Saturday night, Dallas on the Friday night, Houston on the Thursday. But I had something pop up that I had to be home for on Saturday night. So I had to cancel I had to cancel one of the destinations. And Houston had the least previous RSVP people on our CrackBerry groups list. And I was like, well, the hardcore Houston people will go to Dallas if they're hardcore enough. So I'm hoping a few Houston people make that trip. But I feel bad for that. And then after that, we'll figure it out. I'd like to do one in Vegas, but I think for Vegas, it would make sense to do it like when we're there for something else, like maybe not during CES, but maybe. I think maybe like CES, or is there another conference there in the fall? CTIA?
Like an adult conference of some sort you could do it at.
It's the Adult Video Awards.
The AVNs.
You're there for that every year, so might as well.
No, I'm not. What are you saying right now? But you're making stuff up.
What?
There's no evidence.
Amazing.
Although we do have a VR website called VR Heads, and I hear that's a hot topic these days in the VR world. So
Totally is.
I bet with your 50 KEYones, you could like somehow make a crazy good VR experience if you could sync all of them.
That would be pretty wild.
I don't know. You better take some photos and post them though of all those devices before you ship them out.
Yeah.
Are the boxes all sealed, or could you get away with like opening them?
No. honestly, I think the majority of the boxes were open from just looking at it. They were open.
Okay, so they're like,
they were double.
Well, because
they were
that's
looked-
not.
looked open, basically.
Yeah, because they're. I mean, we coordinated getting these guys the way I get some of my other ones, so they're not necessarily. Yeah, okay, they'll be all good units, but they won't be necessarily like 100% sealed retail off the shelf. They're better than that.
Yeah.
They're special.
They're special, previously touched.
They've been blessed. Anything else on the agenda? It's been a fun podcast. I hope if you're listening and you're still here, you enjoyed it, because it's just that you're hanging out with us. It's not really a informational show. It's a hangout.
Are they ever informational?
Only if we have interview
lets me
guests.
speak.
Sometimes.
You can talk anytime. F off. Talk. You can do
Just
podcasts
joking.
without me here.
Just
Just like
got hustled. We tried that years ago. It did not work out too well.
No,
Nobody
it
wants to
actually-
hear us talk about nothing. They just want to hear you
No.
talk about
no, I disagree. People love Blaze, and they also love James Nieves, who ditched us. But
Yeah.
they tolerate Kevin.
It's true.
It's true.
People
I'm
love
not
Adam
stupid.
too. People when
I'm gonna hold my
Do
That's
people love Adam? I just feel like
What?
No,
Do
people
people
do
love
love
Adam?
Adam.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
I think I'm in the same boat. I think people tolerate me, and I don't know that they necessarily love me.
I don't know, man. When you were away, a lot of people were like, "Where's Adam? Where's Adam going?"
That's because I was gone. People do that when Kevin's gone. They're like, "Where's Kevin?" And then he comes back, and they're like, "Eh."
Well, now it's like if I
That's
don't
how it
do
works.
something for a day, it's like Kevin's back in retirement.
Kevin's ditching us. The key one's out. Kevin's
He's
done.
leaving us again.
No.
He's done.
I'm excited. Well, you know what I'm excited for is let's talk future-looking stuff. So KEYone is coming. CrackBerry is always about what's next. What's next? And actually, yesterday I need to go open that post
Oh,
on Twitter last night. I said we're podcasting tomorrow. What do you want us to talk about? So let's go see what people asked us to talk about, because maybe we've done none of that this show, and I would feel bad. We got 20. Okay, we got a bunch of replies.
oh boy.
Jamie Turner, aka hashtag Barry for Jamie, would love to hear if the IOUs will be rolling out relatively soon, because he won one. He's patiently waiting to switch from an iPhone 7. Good choice. Well, yes, Jamie, we already answered that, so that's good. They are shipping shortly. Rico, for you, would like to know what's next for all three device partners, especially BlackBerry Mobile. What do we expect in the next 6 months, 2017? Great question. That was kind of what I wanted to talk about, so he nailed it.
Boom.
Well, Aurora, I don't have one yet. I would like to get an Aurora. How do we get that?
Yeah. You have to have somebody within the area who can actually pick it up from a local retailer and will ship it to you.
Okay. Well, that's Indonesia.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of the Indonesian retailers will actually ship one out to
I
the US or
know.
Canada.
I know some guys in Jakarta,
Well,
or as I like to say it, Jakarta. Jakarta. Oh my God, I was there for 2 days. So I had a good hotel because I was actually staying at like the Ritz or something like that. I didn't pay for this hotel. I forget who did. The airport was only like 5 miles away. It took us 4 hours to get there. The traffic was so insane. It was just insane traffic to actually move. Like there was far too many people for the roads, but it was good otherwise. I just couldn't believe that we left way too early for our flight, and we still almost missed it. Okay, so BlackBerry Indonesia, I don't know what's next after the Aurora, but I'm expecting, do you think they would do a keyboard phone, or do you think they would just do more touchscreen stuff like the Aurora?
I hope they do the key too.
Well, we're not talking about BlackBerry Mobile, though. We're talking about BB Mary Pooty.
My bad.
I don't know. I mean, for their market, it does seem as though that it would be beneficial for them to go ahead and do a keyboard device, because BlackBerry still remains a huge brand there, and the first device that they put out wasn't actually a keyboard device. So
like,
I mean,
so,
it makes
sorry,
sense
go
to
ahead.
do it. It makes
Wouldn't
sense
it-
to do it.
But wouldn't it make the most sense? Like, I don't know how these I would love to actually get like the licensing agreements from John Chen to all the partners, because could you not have like the licensing partners then do licensing deals between each other? Like, why wouldn't BB Mary Pooty just license the KEYone or buy the KEYone from BlackBerry Mobile and resell it out there for them? Or is there local laws on, so much of the phone has to be manufactured or assembled in the country?
With Indonesia, so much of the phone has to be manufactured or at least assembled within the country.
Assembled. So they could ship KEYone. See, that's what it would probably be more effective for them to like do a deal where they just get components of the KEYone and they assemble them there and then sell it, than to go through the process of building a phone like the KEYone from scratch out there. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
That's part of the reason behind like why a KEYone announcement for India is such a mystery still at this point, because of the fact that nobody knows how they would actually distribute it, because of the fact that they have partners in India already. They have the DTEC 50 and the DTEC 60 in India, but how come the KEYone can't be in India at the same time? It's just, like you said, it'd be one of those things where you have to have a look at the actual licensing agreements to figure out how it was all put together and go from there. But I mean, when it comes down to BlackBerry Mobile, I think BlackBerry Mobile, we already know that BlackBerry Mobile has at least 2 more devices lined up. They said that early on. They've been saying that all along. They have at least 2 more devices lined up.
Well, they got to do a full touchscreen, right? They have
to. Yeah. I mean, that just makes sense. roll out with a keyboard device and then do a touchscreen device, and because I mean, touchscreen devices are something which is already in their forte anyway. So why not do it right?
No, that makes sense. I mean, what's kind of nice, honestly, though, about like the KEYone taking a while to get to market is that maybe there's some compression to like the next one that will start to like get excited, because I always get excited for the next thing, right? So if I'm gonna get excited for the next thing and I have to wait forever, that's less exciting. It's more painful. But I wonder if the fall hits, then we're starting to think about like, well, what's coming next? I don't know what that timeline will be. So what do you think the third thing would be? Would they do more? Did they say anything? I don't actually.
No, but.
Or have you heard anything?
The only thing that I could possibly think of is that, like, when John Chen was talking a few months back, and there was a conversation with some of the guys from TCL that they were possibly looking at a tablet as well. And whether or not that comes to fruition, I don't know, but it would be an interesting scenario. But at the same time, I don't.
Well, if they want
to really see anything beneficial coming from a BlackBerry tablet.
Well, what I would build is a BlackBerry second screen like a Zeus. I would just rip off that idea because I'll buy the BlackBerry one.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that has kind of been in the works for a while.
I can't believe that accessory. I get so excited thinking about it. I'm like,
oh boy.
Portable display. It's just amazing. Okay, let me keep looking at our questions here. One question from Brian Hope. Nougat on the DTEC 60 time frame.
Guess is as good as ours because nobody has said anything about it as of yet.
Yeah, so that's my question is like BlackBerry so that is still a BlackBerry phone, right?
That's a BlackBerry phone, which happens to be built by TCL.
But BlackBerry is now out of the phone business, so right. I don't think they have a vested interest to necessarily like. I don't know. It's almost like they should just like assign the management of it over to BB Mobile now, and maybe they would actually. That was a hard question. Why they got asked such hard questions?
Because those are the ones that they want the answers to.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess question one is time frame. Did they ever promise it was going to get Nougat?
No, they never went out of their way to mention it or anything along those lines. They just promised that it would get security updates for a while. But I don't know. Here's the thing with that too, is that like you already know that they have Nougat available. They've already done work on Nougat, so why don't they roll it out? Because BlackBerry's still doing the software. BlackBerry built Nougat for the KEYone, so they have the accessibility. They have everything pretty much there. They just need to push it out and do some testing on it to make sure that everything worked correctly. So I don't understand the logic behind not doing it unless there's something that we just simply don't know. Like, why not do it, right? You've already invested it on the KEYone, so why not do it? But
I'm sorry to laugh now because I'm reading some more of the tweets. They get pretty funny.
Yeah.
Can I? I mean, do we have a disclaimer on the age of our show? No. So Tori Allen says, talk about Copperhead Os calling out BlackBerry's claim of world's most secure Android. Realistically, though, the show will just be a KEYone circle jerk. I mean, yeah, it's always going to start that way, but we've talked a lot around other things.
Yeah, I mean, KEYone is the most current device.
Yeah, and
that's the topic of interest at this point.
I don't know anything about the Copperhead OS story, though. I missed that. So what's Copperhead OS?
Copperhead OS is basically another security-driven Android operating system that they built on their own. The company is actually based out of Toronto, I think.
Okay.
And they've ever since BlackBerry put out that they had like the most secure Android flavor of Android, that Copperhead has taken issue with the stance on it, because Copperhead basically.
But does Copperhead sell a phone?
Copperhead, I don't think they actually sell a phone, but the operating system that they can load is compatible with most, like the Nexus, the most recent Nexus devices.
Okay, well, until they ship a phone, I'm not going to listen to them.
Right, and that's the other thing, is that like they've always gone out of their way to go ahead and say, okay, well, nothing that BlackBerry is doing is anything over and above, but at the same time, it's like, well, if that's true, then how come the security hasn't been broken on BlackBerry Android devices as of yet? So, I mean, it's a debatable argument. There's never going to be an answer there until BlackBerry actually reveals what the secret sauce on their devices is. So you can argue about it all day long, but there is no actual answer. At the end of the day, BlackBerry has the line. You know, we have the most secure Android, and it hasn't been broken into as of yet. It hasn't been rooted or anything as of yet. So
I like it. Going to the BlackBerry.com website has been fairly amazing lately, because after the cyber attack, what was it called again?
The WannaCry cyber attack. Basically, the ransomware that was.
Oh yeah, the ransomware one there. Yeah. Oh, they updated their website. Oh, yeah. There it is. They have like a nice image. It's like, cyber attacks are on the rise. Are you BlackBerry secure? Take the Shield self-assessment. But the graphic they had, it almost looked like I had to like double check. I typed in the right website address when I went there. So I was like, where am I? What is going on? I was so confused. Okay, more questions. Jacob Acevedo would like us to talk about love.
Love?
Love, L-O-V-E. Adam, you're married to a therapist. Tell us about love.
Love is grand.
I was going to say love is patience.
Love is patience. Love is kind.
Okay.
Love is other things that I don't remember.
Forgiving. Love is forgiving.
Sure.
I feel like love is really expensive sometimes. Like
very much so, yeah.
No kidding. Especially when you fall out of love and there's a divorce involved, it gets real expensive.
Yeah.
That escalated quickly.
I feel like, see, and this is it. I feel like love is a partnership. You know?
Love is a partnership.
Yeah.
Love is a two-way street.
Is it? I don't know what that means. No.
Obvious.
Versus what? Love is a 4-lane highway? I don't know.
Maybe not the best topic for you.
I feel like that was a good discussion, though. That was better than I expected us to do. Another question. I'd love to hear. This is actually a better podcast now because we're staying on track.
We should have started with this stuff.
We should have started. Next time we start with this. I'd love to hear an update in terms of how well the KEYone is doing relative to early expectations. It really feels like there's traction. So I mean, here's the thing. We don't know how much inventory is hitting these stores before these units are selling out, right? In Canada, obviously, there's like lots of retail stores getting a few units at a time. That's pretty standard. You don't see them get like 300 units. In online inventory, I'd expect it's more than a few units. You'd think there's like, hundreds or ideally thousands, but I think it's probably not thousands that are coming in and out. It feels more like, hundreds or something. I just don't know the numbers though. So I do think though it definitely feels like there's traction. I mean, we said on the last show, I haven't seen this positive a response to a BlackBerry ever, maybe, since the Bold 9700 or the original Bold 9000 until we started getting them.
What about the Storm?
No.
There's a great response to that phone.
Yeah, I mean, the Storm is just like the KEYone. Anybody who's complaining about the KEYone, oh my God! Unless you live through the Storm days, you just can't. You shouldn't comment.
Your
this
argument
is
is not valid.
you're not even allowed to talk or leave a post because unless you live through the Storm days. CrackBerry before the Storm was the happiest community on the internet. We were all so friendly and loved each other. And then the Storm came out, and nothing's ever been the same since. Poisoned our CrackBerry community, and we've been trying to recover since then. I dropped your Connectedly pen, Adam.
Oh boy.
But I do think that it seems doing well. I think one of the tough things to tell was in the UK with the initial launch that happened earlier than North America. So many people were buying it from other countries and just having it shipped that you didn't know what the natural demand was. I think now that it's getting wider spread and we're seeing the product move, it's very positive. Like I think it's I don't know if it's meeting or exceeding BlackBerry Mobile's expectations, but I think I've been super impressed with the traction. And what I'm really looking for though is to start seeing it in other people's hands. I posted a poll in the forums yesterday asking like, hey, if you see a stranger with a KEYone, are you going to go up to him and talk to him? Because in the beginning, it's kind of like an exclusive club again. Sort of like it used to be a decade ago when you saw somebody with a BlackBerry. And I'm excited to see it hit real people's hands that I don't know and be like, hey, what do you think of it? So I think it's got legs though, definitely. Do you want to hear the next question?
Yes.
This is one for Blaze.
Oh boy.
How do all the BlackBerry apps work on Samsung phones? I'm on the Priv and have gotten away from the physical keyboard, thinking S8 Plus. So can he install the hub and the launcher and everything? BBM?
Not officially.
What? Yes, you can.
With you can go and you can access like the BlackBerry Hub and stuff like that, but there are some of the like keyboard apps and stuff like that you can't actually download because BlackBerry hasn't made them available. But the BlackBerry Hub suite itself, so like you get the hub, you get password keeper, you get the calendar, you get the contacts and all that stuff.
And they charge you though. Don't they charge you like $2 a month or something for the suite?
Yeah, I think it's $1 a month. But basically, if you don't pay it, you just have an ad that shows up in the BlackBerry Hub. But overall, I mean, the apps work perfectly fine on those devices. There's plenty of people. I mean, it's actually one of the things that has come up quite a bit is we have a BlackBerry Hub suite section in the forums, and it has become a common thing to ask these people what devices that they're actually using, because of the fact that they're probably not using a BlackBerry device anymore. And the majority of the time they come back and they say S7 Edge or S8 or LG. A lot of LG users seem to like using the BlackBerry Hub as well. But overall, I mean, the apps run just as they would on any other device, such as the BlackBerry. I mean, when it comes down to it, there's an argument to be made that maybe they run a little bit better on some of those devices because of the specs as well. Because realistically, the BlackBerry Hub does take up a lot of resources, especially if you have like every single email account attached to it and every social media account attached to it. there's an argument to be made that it's probably a little bit heavy when you start adding too many things to it. But from my experience, other Android devices handle it like a champ, and there hasn't really been any problems with it outside of the exact same problems that have been experienced on a BlackBerry device. So, I mean, it's worth a shot if you think as though that the BlackBerry Hub and the calendar and the contacts and all that stuff is something that you want to go ahead and make use of and try out, then there's really no reason not to, especially with the free trial. You're not paying for anything anyways. Give it a go. If you don't like it, just remove it.
Yeah, before I switched to a DTEC 16 and the KEYone, I stuck all the BlackBerry apps on a Google Pixel XL, and it ran pretty smooth. It was solid.
Yeah.
So. More questions. Oh, well, this guy's just not being nice. He wants us to record. I'm just going to replace words with Covfefe that aren't Covfefe. Record how Covfefe, the KEYone launch was and is. I mean, I think it's been super Covfefe. So
awesome. Super fantastic.
Super fantastic. Yeah, it can be defined. No, we covered that earlier in the show. So much passion among all of our users. I love it. I mean, look, the alternative is
what we're calling
nobody would care at all.
Yes, it's passion.
That's the thing. The reality is nobody could care about this phone. It could have been a dud and nobody want it, and it would be like, wah, 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 nobody cares. And instead, it's like, I can't believe I have to wait another minute for this thing. I want it so bad. So yeah. I'm like, I can't believe it's 2017 and this is what we're discussing right now. It's kind of awesome opinion. The secret tricks of the KEYone. And to that point, what are the most productive ways you're using the phone? Are there any hidden or unknown shortcuts? Yeah, go ahead.
Adam can speak to some of that because he actually was digging through the forums and found an app that he enjoyed today.
Yeah, there's an app. I forget what it's called, like pull down bar or something. I forget what it is, but we put a post up today that it actually lets you pull down the notification shade with a keyboard shortcut. So you can set it to like N or something like that. So you can just hit the button no matter where you are and it'll.
Oh, and like the
notifications. So you don't have to swipe down to see it. You can just
that's cool.
Set it to your convenience key. But yeah, there's all kinds of apps. I mean, if you dig far enough, there's different ones. So basically, I think the benefit of the KEYone that, it has the ability to set the long press and short press on all the keys and then the convenience key, but you can set it to launch any apps or a lot of different shortcuts or functions. And if it's something that's not built into the device, there's a lot of, APKs you can sideload to do different actions or launch different things. So if you dive in quite a bit, I mean, you have, a ton of shortcuts that you can add to it.
Yeah, I feel like no, that's awesome. I feel like these aren't really shortcuts, but one of the things to be aware of is when you're typing to find emojis, because I use them a lot these days. You have to like tap that button to the left of the space bar that has the 3 dots on it. And then on the, pop up on the screen, there's an emoji icon. So I think that's the quickest way to get to emojis as you're typing. Right? I think.
I don't use them that much. I'm not sure.
You don't use them that much?
I have found that I'm having trouble adjusting to where the question mark placement is, because on the virtual keyboards, it's like over to the right more on a lot of keyboards. So it's kind of like further over. So it's difficult for me.
I've become accustomed to using predictive emojis, so I just type whatever emotion that is related to the emoji. So if I want to type like a money bag, I just type money, and then it just gives me the money bag.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too. And then the other thing is that same. Oh, here's a question. So you can't swipe down to bring up the alternate keyboards now, can
you? No.
So like on my earliest KEYones, and is this a feature on other, like on the Priv or anything? Can you do that?
Yeah, on the Priv you can.
So it's funny, on my first versions of this, I could swipe down to bring up alternate keyboards. And I guess now you have to hit the SIM button, SYM one a couple times. But I think the other thing is people, shortcut-wise, some people occasionally want the touchscreen keyboard up. And there is a setting in the settings to always have it enabled, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But occasionally, if you want to use it, I think the key thing there is just to remember the quickest way to pull up the virtual keyboard right now is to hit that button and then tap that, and then you're the ABC on the left, and then you're back into a virtual keyboard up there. I don't know if you'd want to, but it's just interesting. There are things that
landscape
like lead off.
If you go landscape, it shows up.
What? Like automatically?
Yeah.
Who would ever do that?
People that want to use the virtual keyboard without tapping 2 buttons.
Oh, I never knew that happened.
Surprise.
What? Huh.
Yeah.
Had no idea. Never would I think to do that.
Super
Ever.
informative CrackBerry podcast.
Yeah, learning things. I had no idea. That's amazing. Blog it. Blog it now. Okay, we're almost through our questions here, and then we're going to wind the show down.
Mine isn't exactly related to the KEYone, but it's actually related to the browser. So on Google, with Google Chrome, you can actually change a bunch of the settings. And as most people know, if you're using Google Chrome, the address bar is actually at the top, causing you to have to go ahead and reach up to the top in order to be able to tap on it and type in your address and stuff like that. But there's actually settings that you can go ahead and change where your address bar will, I don't know if anybody can see that. And of course, people listening can't hear it. But anyways, there's settings within Google Chrome that you can change it and put your address bar at the bottom. And also there's a setting for those who like reader mode as well. If you're still continuing to use Google Chrome, that you can change, and you can actually have a reader mode within the Chrome browser. It basically takes all of your websites that you read and turns them mobile friendly. You just tap on the mobile friendly, and then you can read.
Where is this Chrome setting though? I'm trying to find it and I don't see it.
Oh, dude, it's like it's hidden inside. Like you have to go to Chrome. Like you were typing in a web address, Chrome /flags and stuff like that. It's a really geeky thing, but it's really easy to do once you know where it is. But it's super awesome because, I mean, obviously, who wants to reach the top of their device and tap in the URL when you have the keyboard and you can just move your finger half an inch or whatever and type it in?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, that's a good tip, actually. And that actually concludes our questions that got sent in to us. And I feel like our other list...
I said, are you sure? I think there was one about a BlackBerry 10 roadmap that kind of made me chuckle.
Oh, I didn't actually see that one.
And I think there was one...
Aww. This is a kind of people are going to hate us podcast. I'm sorry.
Hey,
Please
look,
like us.
Sometimes, you need to address these things head on.
Tim Jefferson asked for us to give the BB Aurora a mention. I know it's in Indonesia only, but an intriguing device for us nerds nonetheless. We talked about it already. I want one, but...
Here it is. Jeet Rajpool, he asked, how about the roadmap for BlackBerry 10 and where will it be in 12 months from now? So, I mean, basically, I still feel as though the BlackBerry is probably going to push out one more update. And that will be like the 10.3.4 update. And where it will be 12 months from now.
Do we have any friends left at BlackBerry to tell us this?
Probably, but I'm not going to mention their names.
Is it who I'm thinking of?
Probably.
Well, why don't we just ask him right now? I feel like it's a different era. He's not going to lose his job. Like,
maybe not.
I'm not willing to risk that. John Chen might tune in every now and then.
I hope so. Hey, John, if you're listening, big fans. I want you to know, if you actually look at when CrackBerry KEYone came out of retirement and the amazing rise in BlackBerry stock price, it correlates almost to like literally, I'm out of retirement and boom, it's grown like 70% since. So if you're listening to the show and you own BlackBerry stock, I take full credit for it. You can send any proceeds. It's true. You can't prove the data is very clear. Very clear data.
Yeah, totally. I agree.
I feel like you don't agree. What other reason could there be?
The fact that they actually got out of hardware and started doing what they should have been doing a long time ago.
Wow. I don't know. I feel like that's that was already communicated to the markets months before. It wasn't until I put this up. So I'll quit being an idiot. All right. I think that covers this show. I mean, we're going to be probably not on. Well, we will be together maybe next week, Blaze, or the week after. So maybe we'll do something together when we're around.
I think I'm probably going to try and at least make the New York and the Boston trip with you. Everything else might be a little bit questionable, but I think New York and Boston are.
Well, I'd love to see you. People always want to know, where's Blaze? I love Blaze. Blaze, Blaze, Blaze. Blaze, Blaze. Until they see you with a box of 40 KEYone, then they're going to be like, screw me. Yeah. Blaze is the worst. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode. It was entertaining. Nice to just talk to everyone. And honestly, just nice to catch up with Blaze and Adam, because I've been, I was out of it for a week and recovering and catching up on jet lag and sleep the last couple of days. So this is just a fun show for me, and we just happened to record it. So if you enjoyed it, great. If not, forgive us. We'll try to do better next time. But
no promises.
No promises. It's really, here's the thing. I asked Adam and Blaze to put together a script, and their script was like, here's 4 bullet points of 6 words. I'm like, that's not a proper podcast.
I didn't even see your tweet though from last night, so I didn't know we were podcasting until like an hour ago.
Oh, you didn't see the tweet?
There was a time where
us.
you send emails and be like, hey, do you want to podcast one day next week? Like, hey, let's schedule a podcast for this date, put it on the calendar. And now it's just like,
but
hey, I got some free
no.
time. Do you want a podcast? Hey, I'm going to be home in a minute. Do you want a podcast?
Yeah, but you kept saying no. So now I'm like, we'll just publicly commit you, and then you have to do it.
I guess.
All right.
Everyone's happy.
Well,
thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening. We need a better outro. I feel like we're doing
better in the last 10 years.
10 years, we still don't know how to say goodbye. I blame I don't know. I don't know what I blame.
Kevin out. Kevin out.
That's all we got. Kevin out. Kevin out.